This is NDTV. And you're watching NDTV Hindu.
Hello and welcome to the Voice of Chennai. I'm Sanjay Pinto. We all dread that big fat hospital bill, which is why many of us don't mind shelling out that annual premium for a Mediclaim policy that we all hope we will never really have to use. But when things go wrong, does your Mediclaim policy do what it's meant to do? Ensure cashless hospitalization minus the hassles. Now, thousands of patients, our viewers in fact, in our cities and towns complain about how hospitals overcharge the moment they know there's insurance. How insurance companies have actually tricked them into paying hefty premiums while sneaking in a plethora of exclusions and policies and other details to reject claims ensconced in the fine print. How third-party administrators act as if honoring a policy is a huge favor. How those glib-talking agents make themselves scarce after collecting their commission. And how savings have been depleted because insurance promises were not kept. Ladies and gentlemen, how healthy is your Mediclaim policy? Over the next 60 minutes, we'll get viewers to ask our special panel all those tough questions to narrate their problems with medical insurance. Dr. C.J. Philip, Deputy General Manager of New India Assurance, Mr. G. Krishnamurthy, former Chairman of LIC, but now he's wearing his hat as an advisor of the Consumer Association of India, Sheila Anand, Vice President TTK Healthcare Services, and joining us from our Hindu studio is Mr. Balaji, an agent of Star Health Insurance. All of them join us live on the show. But before we go across to our viewers, our headlines at this hour. The Supreme Court called the CBI's 2G scam investigation slipshod, asks why Telecom Minister A. Raja is still comfortably perched on his throne. A combative Raja says, "Why should I quit?"
At any point will you think of quitting around this controversy, sir, now?
If it is necessary, I can, but where is the necessity?
The Madras High Court upholds a 10-year jail term for 3 warders in the sensational Rita Mary rape case. One official is acquitted.
The High Court today in its judgment has confirmed the conviction on 3 accused persons and acquitted 1 person.
Law students take up their own case and hit the streets. They want the recently introduced bar exam before enrollment to be scrapped. After ploughing through the maze of charges against former IPL chief Lalit Modi, the Chennai crime branch seeks more information from the BCCI.
We've asked for the dates of those meetings, where they were held, the minutes of the meetings, who were party to it and things like that.
Bring out your umbrellas. The northeast monsoon is here, but is Chennai ever prepared for that onslaught that lies ahead? No big names, no big bucks. A week ahead of the Festival of Lights, the box office fails to dazzle. That little plastic card in your wallet can be a lifesaver and also keep your savings intact. There is no doubt, ladies and gentlemen, I repeat, there is no doubt that medical insurance has brought about a revolution in the medical fraternity by empowering the middle class Indian. From fearing that visit to a private hospital, however sick you may be, to getting assistance for yourself and family members thanks to that little plastic card, which is like a magic wand. But for the insurance fraternity, it's time for some introspection, because many users feel that Mediclaim is a lucrative business and without a soul to reach out to the sick and needy. Our consumer reporter Bertilla brings us a strong message from a man with a very weak heart.
"48-year-old Kannan, a resident of Mailadurai, got 2 valves in his heart replaced at a private hospital in Chennai. That may sound simple, but is one of the most complicated surgeries. The valve, which allowed flow of blood to his heart, had almost failed, hence the open heart surgery to avoid chances of a heart attack. Although his heart got help, the real heart attack for Kannan was when he realized that the Mediclaim company he was covered under refused to reimburse him the hospital fee. He was told a valve replacement surgery was not part of the policy. Kannan took his battle with the insurance company to the consumer court.
They are able to do only if it is an open heart surgery or a bypass surgery or an angiogram. So they are not ready to reimburse the claim made by the complainant, stating that it is only a change of the valves by the complainant. State Commissioner, making an entire inquiry, came to the finding that they cannot report it as if that it is, because this too, and it is an open heart surgery. On the surgery only it has been valves has been changed. So the entire claim made by the complainant has been approved by the State Commission.
Many users get a shock when refused reimbursement after getting treated in a private hospital. They also feel that hospitals charge a few thousands more on knowing that a patient has a medical insurance.
Taking the policy, everyone should declare all the particulars required by the insurance company. The second one is they should not suppress any material facts and they should deliver all medical history. The third one is the proposal form should be filled individually, so that everyone will know about the clause and conditions as mentioned in the policy.
While diagnosis cannot be claimed for, a treatment can. But several rules and hidden conditions becomes a bigger test for the patient rather than recovery itself. For example, a cosmetic surgery does not come under an insurance. Policymakers say that people often misuse it for something as unimportant as a nose correction. But it could also be that a child may have suffered burns accidentally and may need a cosmetic surgery. Can exceptions be made? Will Mediclaim companies ever treat an emergency with a heart rather than a business mind? In Chennai, Bertila, NDTV Hindu.
Well, joining us live in our studio is Dr. C.J. Philip, Deputy General Manager of New India Assurance. First, I must congratulate you and thank you, sir, for coming into the studio, because not everyone comes and actually to face the wrath, as it were, of a lot of viewers. There's a public perception, sir, that medical insurance, as we said in our story, is, a business without a soul. Yeah. Is your mind larger than your heart?
Sajay, I think the public opinion is misplaced. That could have been the concern few years back when the Mediclaim just started in, and we were also experimenting, and a lot of claims were coming in which were outside the scope of the policy. Now, as being said, the policies are not
that outside the scope. That's the
outside the scope. If you see,
no one, sir, I'll tell you why. Because no one really ever takes a policy to use it. We all hope we will never have to use it, as I said at the outset.
Right.
But no one also is 100% fit. You have for the first year. Why is that you don't allow any claims for the first year? There's this talk about pre-existing illnesses. Yeah. That's under that rubric. Yeah. Many insurance companies do that to sort of get away and to reject claims.
Sajay, I tell you, this is a sort of a commercial insurance legal contract. I promise to compensate or indemnify any of my insured for unforeseen happenings coming up in the life. So, when we say that you take a policy, now first year we don't say nothing is covered, everything is covered. For example, there is a typhoid, there could be a jaundice, there could be a fever of unknown pyrexia, whatever may be. But we are seeing all the surgical conditions. For example, a condition like piles, cataract, hysterectomy.
These are all elective surgeries.
These are elective surgeries.
But sometimes what is considered an elective surgery may also be an emergency.
We never say that we don't pay after emergency conditions.
Appendicitis, for
emergency
instance.
conditions can be always considered. We never said that. We never said it is not payable. Okay. When you say the outside the
scope,
so
is your mindset to actually settle claims or to reject claims? Be honest.
See, to be very frank, I tell you, this is all said and done, though it is a commercial contract, it is a social welfare measure also. Okay. So, nobody is trying to say that you have to penalize your patient or insured.
Social welfare measure will be debatable. Let me ask also Mr. G. Krishnamurthy, who is also a former chairman of LIC, has been ombudsman of the insurance companies, also now here as advisor of the Consumer Association of India. Thank you very much, Mr. Krishnamurthy, for joining us. I just have some figures with me, and it says that the 18 general insurers in the country, including the 4 PSUs, the public sector undertakings. In fact, recently also there was this controversy. They refused to settle cashless hospitalization. Then, of course, the IRDA had to step in. But they said that they bled to the tune of 1,500 crore rupees. That is, the claims that they settled far surpassed actually the premium that they had collected. So, is this a problem there, sir, with the insurance companies now? Is that the reason why they are extra careful, almost sort of paranoid when it comes to entertaining claims?
Yeah, you see, the insurance companies, they generally feel that Mediclaim policyholder is charged more by certain hospitals, and therefore they have started an exercise of standardizing the charges of all the network hospitals, and that has given rise to a sort of a heartburn among the hospitals, and the row was going on. But the Delhi High Court also recently observed that the IRDA should intervene and then see to it that the existing policyholders should not be made to suffer because of the row between the insurance companies and the hospitals.
All right, we've got our viewers now who are across the city who have certain problems. Mr. Shanmugam now joins us from Arumbakam. Mr. Shanmugam, what is your question for this panel? What is the problem you have faced, sir?
I am Shanmugam from Arumbakam. We have been hearing that the number of hospitals, normally they charge the full claim of a person who has an insurance or a Mediclaim, but whereas the treatment requires a very less cost only. Why do the hospitals charge like this?
All right. There is an exploitative mindset here in the hospitals that they want to like almost Shylock extract that pound of flesh the moment they know there's that plastic card in the in the wallet.
Yeah, Shanmugam's concern is right. That is the very reason now recently we started, of course IRDA is also concerned, we started trying to fix up the tariff card for each and every hospital. So that's how we have come with that PPN network, that is Preferred Provider Network hospital system, where our TPA, third party administrators, they are trying to bring in hospitals who have accepted a standard chart, maybe it varies hospital depending upon that infrastructure and services. So there cannot be a situation where an hospital try to bill him for the entire amount of the sum insured. But it's an area of concern. So this improvement will definitely. Panel
of doctors will actually ensure that.
Yeah, TPAs are doing it. Actually, for example, for Chennai, we had around 54 hospitals to start with. Now we have got 104 hospitals.
All right, 104 hospitals in Chennai. Okay, that's an important point. Yes, 104 hospitals in Chennai.
Yeah. The benefit will go back to the insured only in terms of his premium saving. That's what we are trying to do.
Okay, we've got Mrs. Rekha who joins us now from EGMO. Thank you for joining us on the Voice of Chennai, ma'am. Go ahead with your question.
What are the diseases that cannot be covered under medical insurance?
All right, what are the diseases that cannot be covered? If I can bounce us off to Sheila Anand, Vice President of TTK Healthcare. As a third party administrator, Mrs. Sheila Anand, what are these big diseases which are not really covered?
Actually, almost all the diseases are covered, and it's just the Mediclaim policy that you take and the diseases get covered. There is no particular exclusion of any disease not being covered.
All right, but a lot of, exclusions in the thing. As I said earlier, for the first year, why is that in the first place? For the first year, you don't don't entertain claims, sir.
See, Sanjay, there are two things about it. One is to define what I cover, what I am going to definitely honor, what I am going to pay. Because this is the insurance is a contract and a promise. So I make it very clear to my insured. Yes, come on, you have taken an insurance. These are the things I am going to pay. There are conditions like cataract, as I was telling you, which I can take it for today. I know that I will be going for a surgery after 3 months, 4 months, 5 months. So I decide to take it. This is not the very purpose of insurance. As I told you, insurance is for unforeseen happenings. And again, I collect premium from all my insured, so many people, and take it, pull it as a fund, and give to that very few unfortunate, unhealthy people.
All right, we've got Mr. Vishnu now, who is joining us from Vadapalani. Mr. Vishnu, thank you for joining us. What is the problem you have experienced, sir?
Sir, I am Vishnu P. Naik from Vadapalani, Chennai. My question is about one has undergone a medical test. The relative claim after the medical test. If the doctor suggests so many tests for him, say scanning, ECG, likewise, if he fortunately survives, if survives without any disease, he will be unfortunate to receive the claim. What is your opinion, sir?
All right, let me ask the former LIC chairman and also somebody who's been an ombudsman, as I said, also advisor to the Consumer Association of India. You're on the other side of the fence now, Mr. Krishnamurthy. So how would you answer this question this time around?
You see,
what happens is you go to a doctor because you are suffering from certain diseases. Now, who is going to decide which is going to be the line of treatment? Now, if the doctor is going to toe a particular line of treatment, then naturally he will prescribe certain tests. Now, you say that unnecessarily some tests have been taken. Now, in the opinion of the doctor, maybe that these are necessary to diagnose what diseases you are suffering from. Now, you will have to also see from the point of view of the Consumer Protection Act, where the doctors have now been brought under the Consumer Protection Act. Now, if the treatment is not proper, then the doctor is also sued in the consumer court. Therefore, it is natural that the doctors are little bit careful about the diagnosis, and for that they are prescribing certain tests. Now, as far as the medical insurance is concerned, any test which is incidental to the diagnosis and treatment is always reimbursable. Therefore, I do not think you should have any problem, but if the TPA or the insurance company, they deny any particular expenses for any particular test, you always have the option of raising it before the consumer court or the ombudsman.
All right, let's also go across to our studio at the Hindu office in Mount Road, where we are joined by Mr. Balaji, who is an agent, a medical insurance agent with Star Alliance. Mr. Balaji, thank you for joining us and waiting patiently there all alone, the Hindu studio. Where does your role actually begin and end, Mr. Balaji? Does it end with merely getting your commission, and after that you don't keep touch base with the policy holder? Because in several cases policies have lapsed, people really forget there are so many things. It's the duty of the agent to also follow up, right? Do you actually follow up?
Very much, sir. The role of mine is very, very crucial, where I go to the clients, educate them about the medical insurance, and educate what about the exclusions and what not, what everything about the insurance, medical insurance to them in detail, so that they are convinced and then they take the policy. And
no, but you tell them, sorry to interrupt, you tell them about the exclusions. Most people just sign on the dotted line. Nobody, I don't know how many, what is the percentage, probably a minuscule percentage. Only 5% are insured first of all in the country, or the 5% insured in India. Probably 0.5% actually read the entire exclusions, and again it's in very fine print. You probably need, and for senior citizens for instance, those who have to undergo cataract surgeries cannot really read the fine print. You need a magnifying glass. Okay. So do you explain to them all this? Do you explain the flip side of the policies as well?
In detail, sir, in detail. Definitely, sir. I do that. I do that very much, so that they are convinced and then they go for the policy.
How many, what is the percentage, Dr. Philip, of those who come through agents and those who come through, directly to the insurance company? Because even recently, as you know, when I approached you, my, policy for my mother-in-law and sister-in-law had lapsed.
Right. Yes.
No letter came, although they say, why is that you send it, why do these PSUs send it by ordinary post? If you charge so much a premium, why can't you send it by courier or registered post? Because you have no record to say that you have sent me the reminder and that you have sent me a reminder saying that this policy has to be renewed. If I turn around and say that, well, I sent you a check, haven't you received it by ordinary post? If there's a dispute that arises, what is the stand you will take?
The first question you asked about the percentage of business procured through the agents. Individual mediclaim is mostly procured through the agents. It will be more than 60 to 70%. So, question you asked, Balaji is right. They have got a very great responsibility for reminding the insured sufficiently in advance.
Do they do
about
that?
The renewal. Normally, no.
Okay.
Normally, no. So, then regarding the responsibility of giving a renewal notice, it is a sort of a good business practice. It is not a compulsion, or it is not mandatory.
But it makes sense, right, in this age of competition, to actually remind to get back your business.
Right. Sanjay, there is one unpalatable things to be told now. See, mediclaim, I told you, it is around 5% of the population is covered. For that matter, New India, it has got a premium of around 1,550 crores, and my outgo is around 2,000 crores. So, it is not giving me even a single pay profit to see that I send the renewal notice on a recorded delivery. I should try to save something so that I at least pay the claim. So, I would only request one thing to my insured, because now the the Mediclaim policies are coming like a life supporting system. It is as good as an oxygen. So keep a track of Mediclaim policy renewals. And I would also say that for a motor car renewal also.
Then also when you say it's oxygen, that the moment a policy lapses, you shouldn't be heartless and pull off that oxygen pipe from patient.
We never pull it out.
What is the thing? After you pull it out after 7 days?
No,
after 7 days
we
you pull
have
it
given
off.
permission to our branch officers or divisional officers to condone the delay and renew it within 7 days.
Okay.
And the regional officers have up to 30 days. And we are very liberal in condoning and giving the extension.
All right. We've got Mrs. Chaya Dave who joins us from T Nagar now. Thank you for joining us, ma'am. Go ahead with your question.
I'm Chaya Dave. I'm staying at T Nagar. I have to ask question, why sugar patient don't have Mediclaim? Such a big disease, so many expenses are there. My father-in-law has this problem. We have suffered from hospital expense. I want to know, such Mediclaim should be there for sugar patients.
All right, let me ask Sheila Anand, the third party administrator. Sheila, diabetes, we know Chennai for instance is becoming the diabetes capital of India. India is the diabetes capital of the world. Why is that we have this sort of stepmotherly treatment to diabetes, which has become endemic almost here?
Actually, it's not a stepmotherly treatment. There are policies which are right now available for a diabetic patients. And other than that, it is how early you insure yourself. See, after I know that I have a diabetes, there is no point in insuring myself. If I have insured myself quite early and I come across this ailment, then obviously it gets covered. There is no policy which excludes it. I mean, diabetes might be an exclusion in a policy for 4 years, but after that it gets covered. So it is always better to insure ourselves much earlier, then we manifest the disease.
All right, Mr. Krishnamurthy, complications arising out of diabetes, that is a huge problem today, and many people are actually caught unawares there, because again there is not enough awareness about what exactly a policy covers. Dr. CJ Philip just now admitted on camera on the show that many agents don't really guide the policy holders properly.
Yeah, see, earlier what has been happening is that any illness which is even remotely connected to diabetes, the insurers used to repudiate. Then they will cite that particular thing as a proximate cause for the present illness and the claim would be rejected. But later on, they have come out with the specific complications of diabetes, where it is directly related to diabetes, such as diabetic nephropathy, diabetic retinopathy and all. Only these are treated as complications, not every disease. But then what will have to be seen is really whether the diabetes was the proximate cause for the present illness. Only then we can decide whether the present illness is excluded or covered.
All right, I think it's time now for us to head into a short break on Voice of Chennai, but stay tuned, many more questions from you, the viewers, coming up.